My child, you were sitting alone the other night. Maybe it was in your car after you pulled into the driveway and just sat there with the engine off. Maybe it was at the kitchen table with a cold cup of coffee in front of you while the house was quiet. Maybe it was in bed, staring at the ceiling, while the person next to you slept without knowing your mind was racing. And in that stillness, something stirred. A memory, a name, a face you have tried so hard to forget. You told yourself you were done. You packed it all away. You said the right words. You made the logical decision. You burned the bridges and swept the ashes. You blocked the number. You deleted the photos. You spoke the final sentences out loud to your friends so they would hold you accountable. You closed that chapter with a firm hand and told yourself, this is for the best. But then, a song came on that you did not expect. Or you saw someone who walked like them. Or you had a dream so real you woke up feeling like you had touched them. Or nothing happened at all, and that was the strangest part. You were just going about your day, and out of nowhere they were there in your mind. Not as a painful memory, not as a regret, just present. And your heart lurched. You have been trying to move on. You have been trying so hard. And I want you to stop for a moment. Right now, breathe. Let me ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me. Not with the people who have given you advice. Not with the version of yourself that has to stay strong and put together. Be honest with me. Do you really want to move on? I am not asking if it makes sense to move on. I am not asking if you should move on, or if other people think you should, or if the circumstances say you should. I am asking you, in the quiet of this moment, with no one else listening, do you actually want to be free of this person? Tell me right now. Say it out loud. I am listening. There is a reason your heart keeps circling back to the same place. There is a reason every time you think you have buried it, it rises again. There is a reason you can build a wall 10 feet thick and something still slips through the cracks when you are not paying attention. It is not weakness. It is not failure. It is not a lack of discipline. It is not that you are broken and unable to let go. It is that I am still working. You thought this story was over. You wrote the ending yourself and you sealed it and you grieved it. But I never closed the book. I have been writing the next chapter while you were still mourning the last one. And the reason something keeps pulling you back is not your unresolved feelings. It is not nostalgia. It is not fear of being alone. It is not that there is no one better out there. It is me. I am the one who keeps pulling you back. I am the thread you cannot seem to break. I am the whisper that will not go silent. I am the quiet knowing in your chest that tells you this is not finished. I have been standing in the doorway of your heart, and every time you try to walk away, I call you by name, not to hurt you, not to keep you stuck, to bring you home. You have been carrying something in your chest that you have not told anyone about. Maybe you have told your closest friend that you are over it. Maybe you have told your therapist that you processed it. Maybe you have told yourself so many times that you almost believe it. But in the dark, when no one is watching, there is a question you have not let yourself ask out loud. You are afraid that if you ask it, you will fall apart. What if I was not supposed to leave? What if I made a mistake? What if I closed the door too soon? What if I hurt them and they never came back and I have to live with that for the rest of my life? What if I am the one who broke something that could have been beautiful? What if I am standing on the wrong side of a door that was never supposed to close? You have been holding that question in your hands like a shard of glass. Cuts you every time you touch it. And you have been carrying it alone because you do not know what to do with it. You do not know if the answer will set you free or destroy you. So you have stopped asking. You just keep walking forward with a bleeding hand and a brave face. My child, I see your hand. I see every wound you have tried to hide. And I am not here to tell you that it does not hurt. I am not here to explain away your pain or to give you a theology lesson about why things happen. I am here because I know exactly what you are carrying, and I have been waiting for you to stop pretending long enough to let me take it. Tell me what you are afraid of. Right now, just say it. I will not shame you. I will not tell you that you should have known better. I will not remind you of all the times you said you were done. I am your father, and I already know what is in your heart. I just want you to say it to me. You have searched for answers in so many places. I have watched you. You looked for closure in a conversation that never happened. You rehearsed the words you would say if they ever called, and you played out every possible outcome until you exhausted yourself. You went through every text message, every photograph, every memory, trying to find the exact moment it all went wrong, as if locating the precise fracture would somehow make it heal. You tried to replace them. You told yourself that time heals all wounds, so you gave yourself time, and when that did not work, you told yourself that someone new would erase the old. You went on dates with people who were perfectly nice. You tried to feel something. You tried to convince yourself that attraction could be manufactured if you just gave it enough chances. You sat across tables from strangers and smiled and asked the right questions, and you went home feeling emptier than before. You threw yourself into work. You threw yourself into your kids. You threw yourself into the gym, into a new hobby, into a renovation project, into anything that would keep your hands busy and your mind occupied for long enough to forget. You stayed up late so you would be too tired to dream. You woke up early so you would not have to lie in bed and think. You asked your friends for advice and you got 100 different opinions. You tried the counsel of people who loved you, and some of it was good, and some of it was just noise, and none of it made the ache go away. You prayed. You prayed desperate prayers. You prayed angry prayers. You prayed prayers that sounded more like accusations than petitions. You told me you could fix this if you wanted to, and you are not doing it, and I do not understand. I heard every one of those prayers, and I did not answer them the way you wanted. I let the silence stand. I let you wrestle. I let you wonder if I was listening at all, because there are some things that cannot be resolved with a quick answer. There are some wounds that need to be held in the dark before they can be healed in the light. There are some stories that need a wilderness before they reach a promised land. You are not lost. You are in the wilderness. And the wilderness is not a punishment. It is not a sign that I have abandoned you. It is the place where I strip away everything that is not true so that you can finally hear the one thing that is. One of my children knew this better than almost anyone. His name was Hosea. I told him to do something that did not make sense to anyone who heard it. I told him to marry a woman named Gomer, and I told him exactly what she would do. She would be unfaithful. She would leave him. She would chase after other lovers and give herself to men who did not love her, and she would break his heart over and over again. And I told him to go get her back. Every time she left, I sent him after her. Every time she gave herself to someone else, I told him to buy her back. He paid the price for a woman who had no right to his loyalty. He loved a woman who did not deserve his love. He pursued a woman who had given him every reason to walk away. And the people around him must have thought he was a fool. They must have whispered about him. They must have told him to let her go, to protect himself, to find someone who would be faithful. But Hosea knew something they did not know. He knew that his love for Gomer was not about whether she deserved it. It was not about whether she would change. It was not about whether it made sense. It was about a covenant that had been made. It was about a love that would not let go, no matter how far she ran. I was not just telling Hosea to love his wife. I was showing him what my love looks like. And that is what I am showing you. You have been Gomer. You have run from me. You have given your heart to things that could not hold it. You have chased after comfort, approval, control, distraction, and 100 other lovers that promised to satisfy you and left you empty. You have broken my heart more times than any person has broken yours. And I have never stopped pursuing you. Not once. I have followed you into every dead end. I have waited for you in every empty room. I have called your name in the middle of your worst decisions. I have never given up on you. Not when you forgot me. Not when you blamed me. Not when you turned your back and walked away. I have been standing in the same place with the same love, waiting for you to turn around. So when I tell you that something is pulling you back to this person, I need you to understand something. I am not pulling you back to relive the pain. I am not pulling you back to reopen the wound. I am not pulling you back to a cycle of hope and heartbreak that goes nowhere. I am pulling you back because I am not finished. I am pulling you back because there is something I want to heal that cannot be healed from a distance. I am pulling you back because there is a conversation that still needs to happen. There is an apology that needs to be given or received. There is a forgiveness that needs to be spoken out loud. There is a door that I am about to open, and you need to be standing in front of it when it happens. You thought moving on meant forgetting. You thought healing meant erasing. You thought freedom meant never thinking about them again. And because you could not make that happen, you decided you were failing. But moving on has never been about forgetting. Healing has never been about erasing. Freedom has never been about pretending the past does not exist. I made you with a memory that holds on to people. I made your heart to attach. I made you to love in a way that lingers. The fact that you still feel something does not mean you are stuck. It means you are human. And it means I am still working on this story. Let me tell you about a morning that changed everything for someone else. She had been bleeding for 12 years. Not a visible wound that could be bandaged and treated. A private, chronic, embarrassing condition that made her unclean according to the law. She could not go to the temple. She could not touch anyone. She could not be part of her community. She had spent everything she had on doctors, and none of them could help her. She was broke, isolated, and desperate. She had given up hope. But she heard that I was coming through her town. She heard that I was passing by in a crowd. And something in her rose up. Not a logical plan. Not a well-reasoned strategy. Just a desperate, irrational, almost foolish belief that if she could just touch the edge of my cloak, she would be healed. She did not ask for an audience. She did not schedule an appointment. She did not wait for the right moment. She pushed through a crowd of people who would have shunned her if they knew who she was. She reached out her hand. She touched the fringe of my garment, and she was healed instantly. But here is what I want you to hear. I did not let her slip away unnoticed. I stopped. I turned around. I asked who touched me. My disciples thought it was a ridiculous question. Thousands of people were pressing in on me from every side. Of course someone touched me, but I knew. I knew the difference between a casual touch in a crowd and a desperate reach of faith. I knew the difference between someone brushing past me and someone clinging to the hem of who I am. And I called her out, not to shame her, not to expose her, to honor her, to look her in the eyes and tell her that her faith had made her well, to give her a name and a face and a voice, to turn her from an anonymous woman with a secret bleeding wound into a daughter whose story would be told for 2,000 years. You have been reaching for me in the crowd. You have been desperate. You have been hidden. You have been bleeding in private and hoping that no one notices. You have touched the hem of my garment with a faith that you barely believe in. And I felt it. I felt your hand. I have stopped. I have turned around. I am looking at you right now, and I am telling you that I see you. I know what you have been carrying. I know how long you have been bleeding. I know how many doctors you have visited, how many friends you have consulted, how many plans you have made and abandoned. I know the exact moment you stopped believing it would ever change. And I am telling you that this is not the end. Your healing is not going to look like what you expected. It is going to look like me. It is going to look like a touch that changes everything. It is going to look like a moment so ordinary that you almost miss it, and then so profound that you never forget it. You have been waiting for a sign. You have been waiting for a clear answer. You have been waiting for a bolt of lightning or a voice from heaven or a burning bush that tells you exactly what to do. And you have missed the small things. The peace that came over you in the middle of the night. The phrase that someone said to you that you could not shake. The door that opened when you were not looking. The quiet, persistent thought that would not leave you alone. That was me. That was me pulling you back. That was me saying, I am not done. That was me saying, do not give up on this yet. That was me saying, trust me with the part you cannot see. I am not asking you to ignore your pain. I am not asking you to pretend that everything is fine. I am not asking you to rush back into a situation that was unhealthy or to reopen a wound that needs time to heal. I am asking you to trust me with the timing. I am asking you to stop trying to force the door open or close it yourself. I am asking you to stand still and let me work. Because I am doing something that you cannot see from where you are standing. I am working on them. I am working on you. I am working on the circumstances that need to shift. I am working on the hearts that need to soften. I am working on the pride that needs to break. I am working on the forgiveness that needs to flow. I am working on the timing that needs to be perfect. I am working on the reunion that will not look like what you imagined but will be better than what you hoped. And I am asking you to trust me. You keep looking back over your shoulder, wondering if you missed something. You keep replaying the conversations, wondering if you should have said something different. You keep carrying the weight of what could have been, as if your actions alone could have changed the outcome. You have been holding yourself responsible for something that was never entirely in your hands. Let that go. Right now, in this moment, take your hands off the wheel. Stop trying to steer a ship that is already in my harbor. Stop trying to fix something that I am already redeeming. Stop trying to write the ending when you do not even know what chapter you are in. You are in the middle of the story, and in the middle it always looks like chaos. It always feels uncertain. It always seems like things are falling apart instead of coming together. That is the nature of the middle. It is not the end. It is not the beginning. It is the part where faith actually means something because you cannot see the outcome. And I am asking you to have faith. Faith that I am who I say I am. Faith that I love you more than you can comprehend. Faith that I am working all things together for your good, even the things that feel like they are tearing you apart. Faith that the pull you feel is not your unresolved trauma or your inability to let go. It is my hand on your life, drawing you towards something I have prepared. You are not chasing a ghost. You are being led by a shepherd, and the shepherd knows exactly where he is taking you. So I want you to say something out loud, right now, wherever you are. Even if your voice cracks, even if you feel foolish, say these words to me. I trust you with this. I trust you with them. I trust you with the timing. I trust you with my heart. Say it. I am listening. Now hear what I am speaking over you. I am not going to leave you in this place. I am not going to let you wander forever. I am not going to let this story end in silence and regret. I am the God who parts seas and raises the dead and restores what the locusts have eaten. I am the God who called Lazarus out of the tomb after 4 days. I am the God who found Hagar in the desert and gave her water. I am the God who prepared a table for David in the presence of his enemies. And I am the God who is preparing a table for you. There is a moment coming that you cannot manufacture. There is a conversation coming that you cannot rehearse. There is a reunion coming that you cannot orchestrate. It is going to happen in a way that leaves no doubt that I was the one who did it. It is going to feel like a miracle because it will be a miracle. You have been trying to move on, and you could not. Not because you were weak, not because you were foolish, but because I was holding you in place. I was keeping you exactly where you needed to be so that when the moment came, you would be ready. I was protecting you from settling for less than what I had for you. I was preserving your heart for something that has not yet arrived. Do not mistake my delay for my denial. Do not mistake the silence for absence. Do not mistake the struggle for failure. I have been working while you were waiting. I have been moving while you were still. I have been writing while you were reading the wrong chapter. And now I am telling you to lift your head. Look up from the wreckage of what you thought was over. Look up from the grave you have been standing at. Look up from the closed door you have been staring at. Look up because I am opening a new one. And on the other side of that door, there is something that will make sense of all the waiting. You are not being pulled back to the past. You are being pulled forward into a future that I have prepared. And when you arrive, you will understand why you could not leave. You will understand why every attempt to move on failed. You will understand why your heart kept circling back. Because I had you anchored. I had you tethered. I had your heart exactly where it needed to be. You belong to me, and I do not lose what is mine. So let us pray together now. Let me speak over you what I have been waiting to say. Father, I lift up this child of yours who has been carrying a weight that was never meant to be carried alone. I thank you that you have not let them go. I thank you that every time they tried to walk away, you pulled them back. I thank you that their restlessness is a sign of your presence, not your absence. I speak wisdom over their mind. Quiet the noise that has been drowning out your voice. Give them clarity where there has been confusion. Give them patience where there has been desperation. Give them peace where there has been anxiety. I speak protection over their heart. Guard them from bitterness. Guard them from cynicism. Guard them from the lies that tell them they are forgotten. Let them feel your nearness in a way that is undeniable. I speak courage over their steps. Give them the strength to wait when waiting is hard. Give them the faith to trust when trusting feels foolish. Give them the grace to release what they cannot control. I speak healing over their wounds. Heal the places that still ache. Heal the memories that still sting. Heal the words that were spoken and the words that were never said. Heal the rejection. Heal the abandonment. Heal the fear that history will repeat itself. I speak restoration over every broken relationship. Not necessarily the restoration they imagine, but the restoration that brings wholeness and peace. Restore what the enemy meant for destruction. Redeem what felt wasted. Bring beauty from the ashes they have been sitting in. I speak breakthrough over their situation. Break the cycles that keep them stuck. Break the patterns that keep them returning to the same pain. Break the strongholds that have convinced them that this is all there is. And I speak provision over their future. Provide the resources they need. Provide the people they need. Provide the opportunities that align with what I am calling them to. Open doors that no one can shut and shut doors that no one can open. Let them know, deep in their spirit, that they are not forgotten. Let them know that the pull they feel is not a weakness but a promise. Let them know that I am for them, and if I am for them, no one can stand against them. And now, my child, I am sending you out with something in your hands. What you have received here is not just for you. There is someone in your life who needs to hear this same truth. Someone who has been trying to move on and cannot. Someone who has been carrying the same question. Someone who has been waiting for permission to hope again. Give them these words. Let them hear what you have heard tonight. Tell them that the pull is not a curse. Tell them that the Father has not abandoned them. Tell them that their story is not over. You are not alone in this. You never were, and I am not finished. Go in peace. Go in faith. Go knowing that the one who began this good work in you will carry it to completion. I will not stop. I will not grow tired. I will not change my mind. You are mine, and I am yours, and nothing will ever change that. Amen.